Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And people ask me all the time, Jason, are there any YouTube fitness channels that you do endorse? And the answer is yes, there are quite a few that I actually do endorse. I think are great channels with great content, but most of them are not that big a channel. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skill at my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And there might be some honorable mentions, but part of the problem I have with a lot of the channels out there is that they are selling supplements, and oftentimes they're selling supplements that we know don't even work. And most supplements don't work, and that's fine. That's understood by anyone with two brain cells to rub together. Most people who've been in the game a long time who are intelligent realize supplements don't actually work for the most part, other than like creatine, maybe whey protein. That's about it. Everything else is a waste of money. But some of the channels out there that do have some good knowledge do sell things like branched chain amino acids, which makes me want to not endorse them because they're conning people out of money, even though everything else they do might be phenomenal, right? And that's part of my problem with some channels. I think some of you know at least one that I'm thinking of, which interestingly enough smashes on Athlean-X. It's actually a way more knowledgeable, way better channel than Athlean-X in terms of even scientific knowledge, training, everything else. But they both sell branched chain amino acids, so that's a bit of a problem. And as you guys know, most of YouTube fitness really don't know anything about training for the most part. And I can tell you guys right now, when you're looking through channels, before we get to my short list here, when you have channels who tell you that you can separate size and strength to a large degree of, there could be a small degree of separation, right? You can bias your training slightly more towards one than the other, right? Maximum strength versus maximum size, but the overlap is going to be at least 80 to 90%. And anyone who tells you that that's not the case, I can tell you right now, is feeding you garbage information, and they need to just give you their drug stack. That's a steroid channel. In other words, the person who's telling you that, all of their life experience is based upon using anabolics themselves or working with people who are on anabolics. They have no knowledge of how to legitimately train drug-free people if they think that you can separate the two, because that can only be done when drugs come into the equation. So those channels need to just give you their drug stack instead of their workout routine, because their training is usually going to be pretty bad if that's the case. I mean, if they don't really understand that progressive overload, progressive workload, that those are the drivers of hypertrophy, they're a steroid channel. That's it. That's all they know how to do. They probably don't have any real knowledge for you because they don't even understand the very basics. And that's my problem with, 70-80% of YouTube fitness. 70 to 80% of these guys are promoting physique-oriented stuff, how they look, and honestly acting like you can separate size and strength, and they're where they are because of, number one, their genetics, number two, the fact they probably diet down really lean, number three, they use drugs to enhance their physique. That's their secret. That's 70 to 80% of YouTube fitness falls into that category, and that includes most of the channels over 100,000 subscribers. Most of your silver play fitness YouTubers, that's the unfortunate reality of it. The one exception I can think of to that might be someone like Alan Thrall, but most people don't think he looks impressive. He's strong, but I can tell you right now, if Alan Thrall dieted down pretty lean, the dude would be ultra jacked. He has fantastic training knowledge, he's natty, but he's already a bigger channel that everyone's heard of. So I don't think I necessarily need to link Alan Thrall. Everyone knows who he is already. Way bigger channel than mine. But here's the other point I want to make before I jump into some of these channels. People are going to say, every time I've ever endorsed anybody through history, always. And I finally have banned people for this. Like, there have been people who I like certain things they did, and when I have the same person who comes in and wants to argue about it all the time, well, you said that they're a good channel and you disagree on this. I just ban these retards because I don't have time for it. I don't have time for that nonsense. I mean, let's make this clear. If I agree with 90% of what someone says, then they're a good channel, right? If we agree on 90% of topics, that is a fantastic channel. But that means we're going to disagree on 10% of them. And so here's what I want the answer to be. So everyone who watches this, before you go through this list, if you find something that these people disagree with me on, I'm right, they're wrong. Now, people can say, how could you say that? because I wouldn't believe it if I didn't think I was right, right? If you believe something, you believe it to be correct. And so if someone else says, well, this other person disagrees with you, who's right? You're obviously right. Because if you were wrong and you were convinced the other person was right, you would change what you believe and you would believe the same thing. So if you come to me and said, well, TheSwolefessor said X and you say Y, who's right? I'm obviously right. Because if he convinced me that he was right, I would change my stance and we would no longer disagree. So why would you ask such a silly thing, right? You better be willing to present some serious evidence as to why he's right, besides, well, he's got good biceps. If that's your answer, then that's not going to work. So let's go through my little short list of channels that I do like and endorse, I think are fantastic. Sean, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce his last name. Discovered him pretty recently. I've watched a few videos of his. Great channel all the way around. We do disagree on a few points, but his overall knowledge of hypertrophy, exercise science, progressive overload, basic concepts of training programming, his knowledge of nutrition, how it applies to body composition, how it applies to performance. Guy obviously has a very, very good working knowledge of the science behind all of it. He obviously does know how to apply it himself. Smart guy, good channel all the way around. Definitely one of the better channels out there, right? Definitely one of the better channels out there. Like, I think he is a valid source of legitimate information, particularly for people chasing the hypertrophy thing, like for gains and physique. And you want to do it drug-free, probably a pretty good channel to check out. Another one, guy who refuses to get involved in any real political stuff, and I think he said he's not even monetized his channel. I think he should monetize his channel. Tietz, fantastic strength coach. Guy is extremely knowledgeable about maximizing strength, maximizing body composition, great knowledge of just training technique, learning the different technical exercises, how to program accessory movements, how to program all this stuff. Just a phenomenal knowledge base for you guys. I mean, phenomenal knowledge base. The guy is legitimately smart, legitimately strong, jacked, and he occasionally has some cute girls on there that he trains. So, hey, it's an all-around win. All-around win. But a great channel. Absolutely endorse this guy. He doesn't put up enough content would be the biggest criticism. The guy really needs to make more videos. Sean's probably in the same category. But Brandon is easily one of the most knowledgeable channels out there. Easily. Sitting on like 35,000 subscribers. Who else comes to the top of my head? TheSwolefessor. You guys who are, again, somewhat physique oriented, but he is a strength athlete. Again, has, because of his genetics, he has that physique, but his training knowledge is on point. Guy's got a good, solid background in understanding how the human body adapts to training programming, exercise science. Dude is jacked, dude is strong. He knows how to apply it. He understands the concepts, and I think he articulates it really, really well. So he's a guy who is intelligent. He's articulate, very knowledgeable guy, very intelligent guy. Absolutely endorse TheSwolefessor. So that's a fantastic channel. And again, it's particularly guys who are chasing the whole size thing. If you're leaning a little more in the direction of physique stuff, he's on point. And the interesting thing is that if you go to his channel, you're going to see that he and I have about probably, from what I can see, a 95% overlap in what we agree on. In other words, you're going to find a lot of the concepts that you guys see me promoting year after year after year in terms of muscle growth, strength, things like that. You're going to find those exact same concepts, worded slightly different, but they're going to be extremely similar in terms of our basic philosophy and what we promote. Extremely similar channel to mine in regards to our ideas on training and strength and hypertrophy. So like his channel a lot. Smaller one, and this is last but not least, because these are in no particular order. Alec and Kiri. Really like Alec's stuff. I talked to him personally. Guy's a good coach. Dude is extremely strong, and a lot of people say, well, he's small, Well, he's a shorter guy, and you guys need to understand height versus strength ratios, weight ratios matter. And remember, it's like some people do say that weight classes in strength sports are actually height classes of what they really are. But he's extremely lean. The guy is probably no more than 9-10% body fat. Stays lean. So he's not an ultra big guy, but the guy is very strong, uh, extremely knowledgeable regarding training, programming, biomechanics. The guy not only does all your power lifts, but he does a lot of Olympic lifts. So, you'll see him do snatches, cleans, discusses these things. The guy does a lot of box jumps, a lot of GPP work. Uh, so again, he is an all-around explosive and strength-oriented guy, and he's got a very, very good working knowledge of training overall. And like I said, he does catch some flack. Some people are like, well, you should be bigger. Well, again, the guy stays very lean, competes in weight classes, and for him, it is about maximizing his size versus strength. And he separates them a little bit, probably the most that you possibly can. But again, it's a smaller frame guy, So his frame is only going to hold so much muscle due to genetics. So the only reason the guy is not bigger is, again, genetics, structure, size, things like that. But his body composition is fantastic. And again, guy knows how to train. Very, very good knowledge base as far as all of that goes. So another channel that I absolutely endorse. And I'll probably link most of those channels down below for you guys. So I hope this has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.